Hi, Vinay. Thank you so much for being there with us. It's really a pleasure to have you on the show. And thank you so much for being there with us.
Thanks for inviting me, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Before we begin, I would just like to know a little bit about yourself and maybe your background, your family background, and other stuff. Maybe your journey, your whole journey of right from your college days to making it till here.
Currently, I am the CEO of Katiyar Group. It is basically a parent company under which we do multiple things. So, under which we hold like three different marketing agencies that are media publication now called Positivity Media Group and e-commerce. We are exploring e-commerce ventures. I am building my personal brand called Brand Win, and then we are also doing other exploring different projects. So it could be you can term it as a R&D department. So we are testing new things, and once we find that okay, this is applicable and this can grow and this has a future, then we build a assign it to an arm or something like that, right? So this is what I currently do. Uh, my family background, I come from a defense family, Air Force family specifically. Uh, so I was actually preparing for NDA back in when I was 12. So I did all that coaching shit. Uh, uh, never understood maths and physics. तो पता था कि नहीं होगा. But eventually, I was very curious about computers, tech especially. Like no matter what tech it is, I am very curious about it. So in 10th class, when I first had the chance to use internet, right, in 9th, 10th, and at that time also we were using like we were getting by with 1 GB for the entire month, right? So I was basically exploring different ways to hack registries and find loopholes within the Windows PCs, right? So that was my thing, like finding loopholes, exploring how can I become an ethical hacker. So this was a thing. I still want to be one, but so I tried to learn development very early. Uh, didn't continue it for a long time. So I was too much into computers. So basically, what I was doing was there were two things I was very curious about, interested about, passionate about. Right. One was computers. Second was M&M. Okay, so I had two Facebook pages. One of M&M and one of about something random tips.
Okay.
So I used to just post random shit over there because this is 2011.
2011, yeah.
Okay, so you basically used to log in on Facebook once a month or maybe once every 2 weeks. You had to actually tell the other person कि मैं इस time live online आऊँगा तुम भी log in करना.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
It used to happen, yeah.
Yeah. So that was I was doing, and then I then one of my classmates was into blogging, and he was making a really good money out of it. So he was doing AdSense and CPA. Okay, so if you don't know CPA, it is basically affiliate cost per action. So let's say you want downloads, right, for your app. So you contact to an affiliate network reaches out to bloggers or publishers, and they get you downloads. Every download you get, you have a particular price that you get paid for it. So he was making almost, I guess, 100 grand a month USD at in 12.
That's
Right.
nice.
So he told me about blogging. He never told me about how to do it. He never told me anything else ever. But I explored blogging. I searched blogging on Google. I came across blogger.com, read forums. Didn't happen much. I basically reposted whatever I had posted, all the tricks I had posted on Facebook pages to this blog. As simple as that. So this was a free blog, and it was at that time like I didn't have a bank account. I had nothing. Just a curious kid exploring. So free domain पे कर रहे थे. And उस domain खरीदने के लिए भी सोचना पड़ता था because UPI was not there, right? You had to go with a debit card, and by that time my father was in the bank and he used to check statements regularly. तो क्या बताओगे क्या कर रहे हो है ना? So this was more of a hassle. So this
Yeah.
is if 1 year went by, nothing happened. But I was basically reading, surfing around it, and I'm grateful to Facebook that they retargeted me with a blogging community. So
Oh.
I came across a blogging community. I joined it. I found people. I'm still connected to a few people from back then,
Uh-huh.
uh, and then eventually things started happening because then I had a limiting factor. I never thought, okay, I can go and Google, right? Or even
Hmm.
if I didn't know what to Google. That was the first thing. I didn't even know about traffic. What is traffic, right? I had never heard of it. Traffic was road pe jo hota hai, right? So uh, that was all the scenario back then. But eventually when I came to people, they helped me find my limiting factors, and then I understood कि कैसे चीजें होती है, क्या होता है, and all that. And I started doing that. So eventually got into blogging. Back then Alexa rank was the cool thing. So you get your Alexa rank under 100,000 and you will start getting guest posts from brands,
Oh.
right? So we aim for it. Traffic matter नहीं करता. Traffic थोड़ा बहुत तो चलेगा, but Alexa rank आ जाना. Even though it was
Acha.
a vanity metric only, but we did it. Got some guest posts, made some money.
Okay, you also mentioned, told me, that you had dropped out of colleges as well, right? So,
Mhm.
what is that journey? Because I can totally understand because after 12, even if you are making money and even if things are going great, but parents and everybody around you are very skeptical about joining colleges, and and you also told that you were preparing for NDA and stuff. So people already have expectations that he should join college and you should be like at least not dropping out of it. So how was that whole experience, whole journey? Because even nowadays we are seeing that dropping out of college has become kind of a cool culture among the students, right? So what's your learning from that, first of all, and why did you drop out, and what are your basically learnings? That's the whole thing.
Yeah, dropping out was not a fashion statement for me, which it is now, kind of. And one of the reasons I dropped out was I was way too naive. Okay, so basically, what happened was I was preparing for NDA and I was doing PSC
Hmm.
with computer applications, and my whole uh, motivation behind going to college was I will get to learn computer applications, which I was actually curious about, passionate about, right? But I get to college, all I am learning is physics and maths whole day. एंड एग्जाम के 20 दिन पहले बता देते हैं कि ये 20 क्वेश्चन पढ़ के आ जाओ, तो इसमें से कुछ ना 15
Yeah.
7 8 आ जाएंगे.
Yeah.
तो आई wasn't planning to do that, and ऐसा ही फिजिक्स एंड मैथ्स नहीं आता था, and I don't wanted to continue that.
Hmm.
तो मैंने उसमें बेसिकली बीएससी में 3 सब्जेक्ट होते हैं, सबके 3 दिन पेपर होते हैं, तो मैंने छह पेपर में खाली छोड़ के आ गया, बेसिकली क्वेश्चंस रिपीट करके आ गया. एंड कंप्यूटर में मेरे को आता था, बेसिक्स था, तो आई बेसिकली हेल्ड एट द एंटायर क्लास टॉप. इतनी चीटिंग कराया. तो फिर ऑब्वियसली घर पे नहीं बताया. फिर रिजल्ट आने का सीन था. तो ये होता है ना कि जब बताओ ना बताओ, और एक टाइम आता है कि पूछा जाता है कि भाई क्या ख्याल है करियर
Yeah,
का.
exactly.
एक दिन
Exactly.
क्लास लगती है, वो क्लास लगी एक दिन. मेरे को याद है फर्स्ट में था, फर्स्ट में को क्लास लगी, फर्स्ट में 2015 में.
You remember the day as well.
हाँ, क्योंकि ये पहला दिन था जब मैंने घर पे बताया कि मैं ब्लॉगिंग करता हूँ.
Oh, तब
So
तक
I
पता
was
ही नहीं
going,
था किसी को.
no, I was going to cafes. घर में ज्यादा नेट चलाना, कंप्यूटर चलाना मना था. And I used to go to cafes इस बहाने से कि पढ़ने जा रहा हूँ दोस्त के घर पे, और मैं 8 घंटे मस्त वहां पे चलाता था. तो
Wow.
that was what we were doing. तो that was fun, but ठीक है. तो ऐसे उस दिन basically I told him, I now realize that I was a really good salesperson back then because I sold it off, and also obviously my parents were supportive, no doubt about that. So majorly I think uh, a trouble for parent is कि they 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 are not thinking bad of you when you are planning to drop out. They only want, they only care about you that you don't destroy your future. Okay. So as long as you show them an initiative that you are going to do that.
Mm.
You are going to achieve this. We are already getting this result, right?
Mm.
Majority of the parents will agree, will support you. Obviously, there will be few who won't, but most people will agree if you show them the initiative.
Mm.
But the problem is most people want to drop out because they don't want to study. Most people want to drop out because it is a fashion statement and they don't have an initiative to show, right?
Absolutely.
अगर तुम्हारे घर वाले तुम्हें देख रहे हैं कि भाई तुम कुछ नहीं कर रहे, वेले घूम रहे हो, क्यों why would they support you, right?
Absolutely.
So I basically told him this thing at almost midnight कि मेरे को BSc नहीं करना, and he told me क्या करना है. So I told you ना, I was naive. So मैंने सोचा था कि मैं थोड़े पैसे कमा रहा हूँ, इतना पैसा तो है. I was naive कि मैंने सोचा कि इतना पैसा तो कमा लेते हैं कि घर से निकाल देंगे तो चल जाएगा. पता नहीं था reality. But ठीक है, that is why I keep saying कि being naive is a strength and a weakness at the same time, because you can do things that are difficult to do, right? So I told him कि नहीं करना. बोलता क्या करना है, ब्लॉगिंग. तो क्या होता है, मैंने कहा बताया. फिर मैंने तो I gave him all the best examples I could find. I gave him the example of my friend making almost 50 lakh रुपए हर महीना, है ना. तो जो भी हो सकता था, I gave him the good examples. तो फिर कॉलेज लगा BCA करना. लगा कुछ तो अल्टरनेटिव दो, उनकी भी कुछ तो बात सुनो, अदरवाइज नहीं एग्री हो गया. तो मैंने कहा कि ठीक है BCA करते हैं. मैंने सुना था कि प्रोफेशनल कोर्स है, ऑब्वियसली कंप्यूटर स्पेसिफिक है, रियलिटी कुछ और थी, बट मैंने कहा चलो ठीक कर लेंगे. And the best thing about BSc and these BCA courses are in small cities like Kanpur, उतने महंगे नहीं है. जितनी तुम्हारे एक महीने की हॉस्टल के खाने का खर्चा है, उससे कम हमारे कॉलेज की फीस थी साल की. 7-8 हजार रुपए उसमें थी, क्या बोलते हैं BSc में, आई गेस 20,000 रुपए के आसपास BCA में. तो वही हुआ. तो यहाँ से ये पहली बार का ड्रॉप आउट है, यहाँ से सॉर्ट आउट हो गया. Up until this point I didn't had a laptop, so I was basically working out of my PC जो घर पे था छुप के, या फिर I was going to cafes and I was doing it from there. So I basically spent all my savings. But फिर I got a laptop just a week later. I got तो they have been supportive कि आज तुम उसी रात को बोल दिया कि जाओ लैपटॉप ले आओ. So I took my time and got a laptop. So started working. I was not actually interested about कि college जाना है. I was interested about कि वापस आना है, फिर अपनी blogging करनी है. So I was doing a lot of things back then. And तो पैसा basically improvement दिख रही थी काम में. And one thing I realized was कि college में कुछ सीख नहीं रहा वापस से. And I was almost spending, including commute, almost 8 to 9 hours a day in this back and forth. मैंने कहा यार अगर ये 8-9 घंटे में अगर बिजनेस में स्पेंड करता हूँ ना, I would make much more ROI as compared to what I'm doing at college, because I am not learning anything. जो वो सिखा रहे थे वो basically सिखा रहे थे कि कंप्यूटर कैसे खोलते हैं, ऑन करते हैं. तो that was not for me at the time. But देखो, I don't blame them. I used to blame them at the time. I don't blame them now क्योंकि they were thinking about all the kids. तो almost 90% of the kids were coming from villages, right? तो कानपुर देहात and all. So they had to take care of them. But that was not right for me, so I left. तो उसके बाद obviously थोड़ा बहुत हंगामा हुआ, but ठीक है, इतना पहुंच गए थे कि कुछ कर सकते हैं. तो then we shrugged it off. कुछ नहीं हुआ. Then I continued doing it. फिर वही niche sites वगैरह तब तक चालू हो गए, इससे चालू. And eventually got full time into it and dropped the entire thought of ever going to college or something like that. But again, ये था कि I never told anyone in my life to drop out, because dropping out is a really tough thing. If you can't take the responsibility for everything, right? Don't drop out, because it is really tough. You don't really have a backup, right? People who have a degree, even if they didn't learn anything, they have a backup they can use. And I am telling you about the time of 2015. सबको डिग्री चाहिए थे, है ना? तो I still don't tell anyone ki drop out. Obviously, I know college is a waste of time,
Hmm.
but you should get it if you have nothing else to do. So that's it. ऐसे किया फिर got into this business and thing. Blogging से फिर धीरे धीरे एजेंसी में मूव किए, एजेंसी से फिर नई स्किल्स मूव किया, फेसबुक पेजेस बनाए, फेसबुक पेज बेचे, उससे मैप लिया, तो ऐसे चीजें कर चलती गई. तो अभी भी चल रही है. आई एम मोर अबाउट एक्सप्लोरेशन. तो अभी भी वी आर डूइंग. आई हैंग आउट विद अ फ्यू फ्रेंड्स. आई हैव अ इनर सर्कल. तो वी सेट अप अ कॉल विद ईच अदर एंड वी कम अप. जो हमने हफ्ते भर में आइडिया डिसाइड कलेक्ट किए होते हैं, वी डिस्कस ऑन दैट. जैसे तुम्हारा माई फर्स्ट मिलियन होता है ना, दे पिक अप अ फ्यू आइडियाज एंड दे टॉक, वी टॉक लाइक दैट कि कैसे इसको अप्रोच कर सकते हैं, इसको करना है कि नहीं. करेंगे तो टेक में, तो हमारे पास टेक के बंदे हैं जो टेक में अच्छे हैं, हमारे पास कंटेंट के बंदे जो कंटेंट में अच्छे हैं, हमारे मार्केटिंग के बंदे हैं, मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में अच्छा हूँ, प्रोडक्ट के बंदे हैं. तो वी गेट टुगेदर एंड वी डू दिस. तो दिस इज अवर चिल राइट नाउ.
But I would say कि like जो काम like जो आपको naturally पसंद है, like even after dropping out and everything happened, I think that on a personal level you must be satisfied to the extent कि okay चलो मैं चलो ठीक है, like for a particular given period of time थोड़ा struggle है, but eventually I'm doing what I like to do or what I love to do. So was that a feeling post dropout phase में कि हाँ चलो अपनी पसंद का काम कर रहे हैं and something is happening with me? Because nowadays like people do not have any, as you told that you should have some results to show to your parents and in order to drop out basically, right? But nowadays people don't have that and still they are like continuously, there's a whole game going on, right? So aapko like were you satisfied कि हाँ चलो finally I am done with college, like I mean I don't really have to do it for a longer period of time, or is it something else? That's what I.
Satisfied, I can't say I was satisfied. I was happy. I was happy that I am done with study and I get to do what I wanted to. But it wasn't about, I didn't think about it much because now, after a while, you get hit with the reality. Now you are on your own, right? So then I worked my ass off for almost 3-4 years. I worked almost 16, 18 hours a day, 3 years straight. I pulled off sometimes when we were doing like projects like Black Friday, right? Where we were basically building websites and ranking for affiliate keywords. So I pulled 3 nighters. I usually basically go on a binge, basically working for almost 72 hours, 80 hours a day at once. Obviously, I used to drop dead after that, but I used to do that because I knew if I didn't do that, I would have to go back to college because I didn't had any option. I didn't had built a network just yet, right? Or a network that would have the resources to support me. So I had no backup. So I took the responsibility. Okay, कि ठीक है तुमने decision लिया, now prove it. So obviously it was part ego, part responsibility. Still doing it. काफी सारी चीजें होती हैं, but it was never about satisfaction. I personally think I am never gonna get satisfied, but I was happy. So, but it was short lived because of the reality hit. But it was the right thing that happened, I think. Because when you become responsible, you start seeing things in a different way. Basically, I grew up faster because क्योंकि जो लोग जॉब ढूंढने के टाइम सोचते हैं, कॉलेज से निकलने के बाद सोचते हैं, I was thinking at that time.
I think it gives you the upper edge as well. Like as you told that you matured at an early age, and I think that happened because of the necessity of the situation at that particular point of time. Ki, okay, now you are on your own and you took the decision, and now you have to prove it, right? So that's how it is, right? So like moving on, you whatever you have done till now, the whole agency part and everything, it all comes up with a lot of hit and trial methods and experimentation, a lot of experimentation, right? And looking at current situation of the startup culture and everything building around, right? So what do you really think is something that is missing in current startup ecosystem, like on a broad level, and then we will dig more deeper into it. So what is, according to you, because you have tried and you have done all that way, you have lived the journey, right? So love to know more about that.
Same thing that was missing when it all started. Uh,
uh, like as in.
the, but the real purpose, most people are want to most people want to become a startup founder because
Mm,
it is a fashion trend. I
mm,
actually just tweeted it while we were on a break, that finding your why has now become a fashion statement when it should be a mission statement. That's what is happening now, because जैसे पहले इंजीनियर बनते थे या कुछ और बनते थे, वैसे अब लोग स्टार्टअप फाउंडर बन रहे हैं देख के, बट वैसे ही लोग इन्फ्लुएंसर बन रहे हैं कि मेरे दोस्त के इतने फॉलोअर्स है, मेरे क्यों नहीं है, but they don't really have a reason for it, right? So I think the reasons are hollow. People are doing things just for the sake of doing it, not because they want to do it. So I think that is where we see a lot of people failing and not being able to survive these failures because they don't really have the will to go in, right? Like I have went from making almost 2 to 3 lakhs rupees a day, right, to a point where we failed so bad that I had to survive on 13 rupees for a week. So I had to basically grind the oats, put in the milk, put in the water, and survive on that for a week. So I knew why I was doing. So I kept doing it. That was the reason I was able to survive my startup when my investor backed out after a week. So we started our office. Basically I moved to Delhi. I started my office. I took care of furniture and all the things. I
mhm,
hired people.
mhm.
And one week into the startup, we are just working on things, and the investor backs out. No funding. I have no cash reserves, and here I have to pay my own bills. I have to take care of a team. I have to put in the resources for projects, all of these things. And this is the first time I'm actually handling a team, so I don't really know what to make them do. So, but I knew of why I was doing it, what was the reason. So I basically told them the same day, or I think the other day, next day, that yes, scenario hai, investor backed out. I can't pay your salary. If you want to leave, I will write you a recommendation letter that you did well. I will give you like 3 months of recommendation, even if you have just 1 week. But if you want to stay, if you can hold it for let's say 2 3 months, where I won't be able to pay you salary, but if you stick with me, I will teach you enough that you can survive on your own. You won't have to do a job, or you can get a job very easily, right? So most of them stayed, and basically taught them SEO really well, and these people made me almost ran my websites in next 2 months and made 2 lakh rupees a month out of it. So these are the things that happen that you are able to do when you know why you are doing it, and I think that is missing majorly in people, because people are faster to spoke and slower to think. So that is the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, people just want to take up the glorifying nature of, whatever they see on the social media, basically, because, most of the times, the things are things which are put up on social media and through all the medium, they are more glorifying in nature, and nobody really knows the struggle and struggle behind it, right? And only the founder or the people who have figured it out, this is one thing that they need to do. They are the ones who really have the idea of the current of the situation, right? And you told that it's tough because backing out of investor and surviving on notes, it's really like, I don't know how to say this, but this is
So,
tough.
like
This is tough.
there's a popular quote. It is not about how hard you can punch, but it is how hard you can get punched and still come back, get back up, right?
Absolutely.
So When you have that purpose statement, when you have that mission statement, that what helps you get back up. Most people lack that, so they think that you need a why because you want to achieve hyper growth. It is not that. What happens if you fail?
Absolutely, and like moving on, you know, we have basically like after this whole, Acha, do you tell me that are we living in the VC bubble of startups, like according to you?
I think I am not the right person to speak. I have always bootstrapped. So personally, I think, and this is an opinion, not a fact. Take a disclaimer that most people who are raising funding are raising funds just for the sake of it, while they can actually build a bootstrap and keep their own equity. But again, there are some startups that can't be built without outside funding, so you have to go for it. Like, you can't build something like Swiggy or Zomato or a Facebook. You can't build it, or something like Web3, right? You need funds because it needs a really huge infrastructure. But if you're building a startup that could be built on, let's say, $100 of no code things, you don't really need a funding. You are just doing it because it will get you PR and you will get famous. So there's always pros and cons, upsides and downsides of both funding and bootstrap. But it's eventually comes down to the person. Obviously, VC is doing their what works for them. You are doing what works for you. So there's nobody's fault if you don't know uh, what is important for you. Like, that's the same opinion I had for Shark Tank. If you're giving up more of your equity for less money, then अगला बंदा तो खरीदना है. अगर तुम्हें अपने प्रोडक्ट की वैल्यू नहीं है, तो why would he pay you more?
Acha. So, what do you think? Like, do the entrepreneurs who come to like shows like Shark Tank, like they are not smart enough to know ki, they are selling equity at a lesser price, or they are so much in need that they are selling it for a lesser price? What goes behind, according to you?
I think I shouldn't speak on it because I haven't seen a single episode of Shark Tank.
All right, no problem at all. So now, you told me that you are very, very bullish on creator economy and the whole ecosystem around creator economy. So first of all, like why so? And second of all, because why do you think that it is a big thing in the future?
It goes back to the same thing. Consumer behaviors don't change; it just moves to a new thing. So even as a human race, we have started with individuals, then became the society. So it will go back to the individuality of each person, right? So like, we are chasing decentralization. Everyone wants their privacy. Everyone wants to own what they have. No one wants anything to do with the government, right? So I think it is all about leads down to your own individuality. Everyone wants to do whatever that is possible, and they don't want anyone other than them who can control. Because you have to go into the history. You have to see how the revolutions have happened: information revolution, industrial revolution, other things as well, right? So you will, and that is, I think I will just keep quoting popular quotes. So you often see this quote like, if you want new ideas, read old books, right? Because same thing, people have thought about that. I think I was discussing this with Praveen a few days back, and it was about like the concept of metaverse was already being discussed in 70s, almost 50 years back, but it was not sure कि कैसे निकलेगा, but it was being discussed, right? So again, it will lead. Everyone wants their individuality. Everyone wants कि no one can own them, right? So even with the internet, when it started, it was about कि everyone can become their own, right, a business owner.
Yeah.
But it eventually went down to uh, businesses owning things rather than individuality. Then now we are seeing Web3, same thing, moving to individual decentralized scenarios. Now we have DAOs rather than companies, right? So there, every single vote counts.
Totally,
That is
totally.
the reason I am bullish on creator economy, because everyone wants to go back to take decisions for themselves. Everyone don't want, no one wants to get influenced by anyone when they're taking decision. No one wants to take their money away. So no one wants, everyone wants to explore their potential, and everyone has a potential. It was just about, so the basically your rate of innovation is always directly proportional to uh, opportunity cost of innovation as well. कितना
Okay.
कॉस्ट, कितना मेहनत लगेगी ना उसको करने में, कितना खर्चा आएगा, उतने ही स्पीड में इनोवेशन होता है. जैसे when you think of it, I guess it's solar panels. Solar
Mhm.
panels are getting popular now because it is really cost effective now. पता तो भाई 20 साल पहले भी था सोलर
पहले भी
पैनल्स
था.
करते हैं, but cost was very high. So it all comes down to cost.
Absolutely. And like we know each other through Twitter, right? And we got to know each other through Twitter. We interacted with each other through social media and stuff, and you are already making it really big on social media, right? So first of all, like, and I am a firm believer that social media opens up to a lot of new opportunities, because it has happened with me as well, right? So how should an average college guy student, or maybe just a person who wants to just explore a little more or bring a change in their lives, right? So how a person like that can optimize or leverage the whole social media game, according to you, because you have made it really great on it.
Okay, I am trying. I haven't done great. Obviously, 10,000, 20,000 people are not less. I definitely agree with that, right? Uh, what you asked, I have been actually thinking about that, the same thing for almost 2 days, just in my perspective and not the broader perspective.
Okay.
So I think personally that social media should be prioritized as a networking machine rather than a monetization machine. So if you want to use social media, use it. You can always monetize it, no doubts about that. But prioritize networking, building good relationships, building good network over monetizing and making money fast, because the leverage you will build with that would come in handy 5, 10 years later when you actually want to build something meaningful. You will lose this money that you are getting now, right? So I have used this. So basically, whatever I do is being used as a networking machine. So I have 3 agencies. I could have one, right? I can build it simple, but everyone is targeted to a different audience and different target group. And my agencies allows me to connect with people who have $100 million annual revenue companies, which I couldn't have been able to contact if I wasn't doing this, right? So it works as a networking machine for me. Same goes with social media. I'm able to connect with so many people whom I wouldn't have been able to connect if I was not on social media, right? So I go after relationships and building leverage. I understand leverage, so I go after building leverage rather than just making money. Because I have gone through different cycles of blogging, startups, creator economy, so I understand how things changes and that how easy it is to make money. Making money is not that difficult, right? Sorry, making money is not that complex. Making money is hard, not complex. So making money is simple, but it is hard. So you will have to put in a lot of work, but it is not that
It's not
complex.
complicated.
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say?
So this is a great example. Like we planned it a while back. We never got around to doing it. If you want to do it, you can do it. This is any graphic designer and so any graphic designer who understands outreach and sales will be able to pull it off. So let's say, so there is a very wide gap, very much demand in the YouTube space for building good thumbnails, right? Not everyone can do it. So usually with these channels like these education channels, they publish almost 8 to 10 videos a day, right? And they pay almost 100 to 200 rupees, 200 to 300 rupees a thumbnail average. So let's say if you are working with one person and if you make 10 images a day, you are making almost okay, so
20,000,
300 30,000
30,000. Yeah.
3,000 रुपए दिन का, 90,000 रुपए महीने का। ये मान लो कि 100 रुपए पर इमेज मिलता है, ठीक है, एंड 10 यू आर डूइंग पर डे, तो 1,000 30,000 हो गया, राइट? तो 30,000 यहाँ पे हो गया, 300 इमेजेस का, ठीक है। 300 इमेजेस बनाने में टाइम नहीं लगता। आई यूज टू रन फेसबुक पेजेस, मैं उस पे डेली के 25 पोस्ट बनाता था मैनुअली, पूरे कस्टम। तो 300 images बनानी है, you basically build up templates and you keep working through it, right?
Yeah.
And then let's say you use this work proof of concept. Basically, you get the testimonial from this person and contact his competitor and do the same thing. Now you are making 60,000, right? 600 images. You can still pull it off alone. Then you do it again. Let's say you get 10 clients, you are making 3 lakhs rupees a month.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say you keep 5 graphic designers, you teach them the same thing with an SOP and video tutorials, right? You don't have to do anything. मान लो कि 5 लोगों का रखने का तुम 20,000 देते हो, which is usually less, more than average graphic designer gets paid, and तुम तब भी 2 लाख रुपए पर महीना बना रहे हो profit, which is साल का 24 लाख रुपए, just making YouTube images, YouTube thumbnails, कुछ नहीं है, right? So this is how simple it is to make money. Obviously, you will have to know graphic design. You will have to know how to reach out to people, how to do sales. You will have to have skills. But once you know these things, you can make this money, right? Or you can, if you are really good at sales, you can go to a high ticket company or an agency who does enterprise sales. You go and work or do an internship there, understand how enterprise sales work. Do commission based sales for them. $1 lakh का 10%, $1 lakh की सेल क्लोज करो, 10% कमीशन मारो, $10,000 बनता है। तुम उस महीने के 2 सेल्स क्लोज करोगे, 15 लाख रुपए।
These are the tactics that actually come from being practical in the whole scenario, right? And this is something like which can only be learned or which can only be understood when you have something called as skin in the game, right? So that's really
great. So basically, 80% of your time, or basically journey, is spent on figuring things out, and 20% is spent on doing things. Because once you know, you can do it very fast. But वो figure out करने में जो time लगता है, that is what takes time. That is why you need to have patience.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a very, I would say, a quote that I read from Naval. He said that be impatient with actions and patient with results, and I think that completely fits with most of the people who are trying to do things on their own, right? So in the end, is there any piece of advice, like generally speaking, a piece of advice for the people who are trying to be a better version of themselves, be it in whether they are in their jobs or whether they are trying new ventures out from you?
There are 3 things that I basically tell everyone. There are 3 skills or 3 traits that everyone should have: curiosity, humility, and patience. Because curiosity allows you to keep going. But when you learn a lot through your curiosity and develop ego, you stop growing. So you have to have humility. So it allows you to understand that you don't know everything, and helps your curiosity to explore further. And then you have to have patience, because not everything will work in the first time or second time or third time. So these 3 traits you must have. This will always work. This will always come in handy. But again, upskilling, you should know, you should learn communication. You should know how to talk to people. Many people don't know that how to ask right questions, how to approach people. These are things that will actually help you in the long term. Let go of the entitlement trap, because I see a lot of new people coming to me asking questions and then having entitlement ki reply kyun nahi kar raha hai. मैं तुझे follow किया, right?
This
So
happens.
yeah, this happens a lot. And these are kids, so I let it go. It's okay. I
Yeah.
understand. I don't even block them now. कभी नहीं किया. Unless you keep going and blabbering about something really dumb, then I do it. Otherwise, I let the kids go. It's okay. कोई issue नहीं. I understand. I was like this once.
Yeah,
So
they are 14, 15-year old,
हाँ, so ये करो, and networking is really important. And networking is not about knowing more people. Okay, people think networking is like as many people as I know. It is not. It is how many good relationships do you have, right? So I tell people to do this. Basically, build a mentor network, right? Which is basically over the period of your life, you will need to learn things in specific areas, right? So let's say you want to learn communication, you want to learn critical thinking, you want to learn about startups, funding, blah blah blah, kuch bhi, okay? So you go and find out people who are way ahead of you in this game and build good relationship with them. So you don't have to message them every day, but you have to build deep enough relationship with them that they are approachable to you when you need it, when you need them. So I keep telling people that even if I unfollow you, right, as long as I'm approachable to you, you don't really have to care about whether I follow you or not. Because if I am replying to you, why do you care if I follow you? So focus on these relationships, because now I have built enough relationships. I'm still building, I'm still getting there, right? That I can leverage upon it. I can ask them for help and they will do it. And building relation is not just about like, okay, अच्छे से बातें कर ली and all. You keep supporting them even when you don't need something from them. So that was, I guess, one of the tweets I did in the morning. Most people support me because I have been supporting them since they started when they knew no one. There are people on Twitter itself who have almost 100,000 followers, whom I helped when they had like 200 followers, 300 followers, and they follow me, and I can basically reach out to them and I can connect with them anytime I want because I have been helping them, right? So try to help build people up as well. Don't just build relationship with top people who are already at a position. Also uplift other people who have the right mindset, right? So this is something that is much underutilized. Like, let's take a I will just wrap up with this. Basically, let's take the latest example of Elon Musk, right? He is taking over Twitter. Uh, he sold some stocks to raise funding. He and basically who is raising money from? His old friends who he worked with, right? Nothing more. That is the network you want to build. When you are want to do something, you reach out to your network and they come
Network.
together and help you build it. Otherwise, जानने का कोई फायदा नहीं है भाई किसी को.
Yeah,
दो
absolutely.
लोगों को जानो, बट ऐसे लोगों को ऐसे होने चाहिए वो कि यू कैन बेसिकली काउंट ऑन दैम.
Count on them. Absolutely correct. And I am always a supporter of building relations more and more meaningful relations. And I would say that it's really great of you as well to look things in this way. So with this, Vinay, we end the podcast episode, and thank you so much for being there with us.
Hey, thanks for inviting me, man. I'm happy to be
Okay.
here.